Hello, I'm Paul Stainton, and you're watching another lockdown interview with some of the people at the sharp end of the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm pleased to say on this episode, we're talking to the Mayor of Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, the Mayor of the Combined Authority, James Palmer. James, good afternoon.
Hi, Paul.
Personally, what's your lockdown experience been like, and have you stayed well?
Yeah, I'm really good. I've had a busy lockdown because work through Zoom obviously carries on, and we're really busy. But I also had all of my family back here in Soham with their add-ons as well. So there were 6 of us for 10 weeks. The children have now gone back respectively to London and to Norwich, so now it's just my wife and I and our dog. So we're enjoying the silence.
Back to, if you can call it normality, some sort of normality.
It's definitely not normality.
No, there's nothing normal about it. You've had to intervene as mayor, though, haven't you? In a business sense, you've quite a number of measures that you've had to introduce. Has that been to fill in gaps, or has that just been added help? What did you perceive it as?
Well, initially, we set ourselves up to signpost and help businesses get hold of the money that the Chancellor of the Exchequer had put in to help them survive, and obviously to incubate through the period of time. But what became clear to us was that there were some holes in the net, unintentional, of course. And we spoke, I know we spoke online about self-employed and sole traders and stuff. And so we initially put forward just under £2.5 million. We increased that up to £5.9 million. So there was £500,000 directly for sole traders and £5.4 million for small businesses. And that money was for capital grants, so allow people to buy things to keep their business running post-COVID-19. We were oversubscribed for that, and we've asked for, and we're hoping we might get some more money from government. But we were also able to influence government on some of the policies that they brought forward post our capital grant scheme. So I'm very proud of what we've been able to do. I know how hard it was for the staff, and obviously people running businesses, how stressed they were, individuals, sole traders, how hard it was for them, or how hard it's been. And I hope that we've been able to do our little bit to sustain businesses over. Well, I know we have, but I hope that the effect that has will show post-lockdown that our businesses can get up and running as quickly as possible.
When you talk about the economy in Cambridgeshire and the hit it's taken, it's a huge hit for every economy right around the country. But in particular, where do you think Cambridgeshire's at, and how long will it take to recover, do you think?
You know, it's a dreadful situation, and nobody knows exactly where we are. However, what I will say is that our businesses are ready to go. The businesses I've spoken to, they want to get back to work and they want to start again. I think, as in all situations, there'll be opportunity, and there will be businesses that struggle, and we've got to make sure that we're there to help out those businesses that are struggling, or help people who lose their jobs. And we're doing that. We've created a forum where people who lose their jobs can approach us, and businesses can approach us who need staff, so we can liaise them.
Sort of a matchmaking exercise, isn't it?
It's almost blind date, but it's that kind of the thinking to say, well, look, we're here, we've been doing, just come to us, we will help you find jobs, we will help you find staff. We know what an incredible place Cambridgeshire and Peterborough is, and we know historically we've done quite well in recession times, and we've got to hope that the energy and the environment that we have, the energy that our businesses have, help us to move on fairly quickly. Any prediction that I give you, Paul, would be guesswork, and none of us know what's going to be the situation. But just a small example, I think we've been talking a lot about the city centre in Peterborough and how the dynamic could change. And we know that obviously bars and restaurants are going to have to be sitting outside, and I'm trying to encourage you, or have been encouraging, the shops to open later. So that it could well be that rather than shops opening 9 till 5, we have them open 11 till 9, and then there's a whole new dynamic towards that, around that city centre. We've got to try and do things to change probably some of the things we've been used to create opportunity. And I think in every situation there is opportunity, and there I think with the city centre in Peterborough, we could see it become a really dynamic and exciting place to be in.
You mentioned Peterborough, you mentioned working with Peterborough and Cambridgeshire. In terms of going forward, because Peterborough and Cambridgeshire now share a lot of offices, they share a lot of staff, a lot of backroom working. Where do you see the future of that relationship? Is Peterborough sustainable as a unitary authority, or will there have to some other kind of authority there?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm the mayor of the combined authority. I'm not the leader of City Council in Peterborough, so the inner dealings with the county council and shared officer schemes are not really my area. I'm more of a strategic view. I mean, I think that Peterborough to me has always been a pretty well run council. The struggle is that the population isn't massive for a unitary, and there's always going to be an issue there. And I know that they work closely, and they work closely with their neighbours, and have created a real space, I think, where Peterborough has got an identity of its own, and you know, Peterborough has been thriving. I mean, even things that have gone badly, the Thomas Cook situation, Peterborough was able to create jobs to absorb people back into the market, and it's just had such a good reputation over the last few years that I think that there's real opportunity for Peterborough. And I think Peterborough City Council, you know, we will continue to work very closely with them. The leader of the City Council is my deputy mayor, and he's somebody that I've got a great admiration for. So I think that in the short term, certainly, I don't see Peterborough City Council moving from its independence. And I think that the people of Peterborough would fight very strongly to keep that.
You mentioned that you've been concentrating on the health issues around COVID-19 to start with. You've been concentrating on business. Does that mean that the other projects that are important to Peterborough have been put on the back burner, the A47 dualling, affordable housing, and more importantly, the university? Where are we with those projects for Peterborough?
The A47, we'd spent a lot of money on the A47 putting in a bid to government for what's called RIS3, which is a posh word of saying that's where the funding bit is. And we're confident that the A47 is a strong enough case to get that funding at the appropriate time. So that work hasn't disappeared, the work has been done, and the bid is still there. When it comes to the university, certainly I don't see any reason at all why we would not carry on with the drive to deliver the university. I think that even more important, I think the university is even more important post COVID-19 than it was before, and it was damned important then. Certainly there's been no let up on that. We've still been working very much on it. I mean, the one thing I would say about the Combined Authority, and the staff have been amazing. They've been working from home, and we've still been able to carry on our projects. The other one you mentioned was housing. Affordable housing is absolutely key, and you know, Paul, you will know about my 100k home project. Now, clearly, one of the things that hasn't happened is that there's been a slowdown in construction, but the ambition to deliver 100k homes across the whole of Cambridgeshire is absolutely there, and affordable housing, 100k homes are the most affordable way for young people to get on the housing market. So those projects have not dissipated. Our passion has not dissipated for them. And our targets are still in place to deliver.
You understand people in Peterborough's cynicism sometimes when it comes to the university, because they've been promised it for years and years and years. It's a bit like North Westgate being developed, you know what I mean? We've got the South Bank. You know, will there be planning going in soon for the university to, to show them?
Yes, my understanding is that it's with the City Council now, and there are, as always, but there's some issues with it because we decided to spend a bit more money, so the initial plans have had to be extended. So there will be a few weeks, just slight delay on that. But my information is it will still be there will still be diggers on the ground working there before Christmas. So we said originally an October start, but they're probably looking at maybe November. But that's purely because we're spending more money on creating a bigger building, and that's all it is. But the commitment from us, financial commitment, is significant, and Peterborough will have its own independent university before the end of the 2020s, and the building will be up. and people will be in it in 2022.
You talk about money, and you were tweeting today about quite a big tranche of money that's coming for cycling and public transport. And of course, as we all learn to live a different way, perhaps, and we learn to work from home a bit more, and we learn to get to work without using our car, perhaps, cycling, public transport is going to be a main focus for you, I take it.
We've been working very hard with the bus companies to improve the bus service before this problem. Now, since then, we've been working really, really hard just to keep bus companies afloat. And thanks to the government and Baroness Vera in particular, we've been able to bring finance into our bus companies in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. But today's money, the money that was announced yesterday, I tweeted about it today, £2.9 million for cycle routes and safe walking in our cities and in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. That money was coming through in small tranches. The first tranche was 575,000. What I've said is, no, okay, we will, from our capital funds, we will make sure that the City Council of Peterborough and Cambridgeshire County Council have that £2.9 million to work with now, so they can bring forward and implement changes. And I think, you know, if you're going to try and encourage cycling, I sit here on a beautiful sunny day. If you're going to encourage cycling, let's do it in May and June and July rather than January and February. It's an easier argument. But the other thing that's clear is that, you know, cycling is a healthier way to get to work. It keeps you healthier. And what we've seen with COVID-19 is those people like me who carry a few extra pounds have been hit harder than those who are lovely and slender like you, Paul. And,
well, thank you very much.
I used to be thin before I was a politician.
I'll take your glasses any day. I'll have a pair of those. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so it's tremendously important. Peterborough's got the best cycle network in the UK, and we want to enhance that.
You're moving house soon, aren't you? You're moving back to Ely from Alconbury, and that's saving a fortune as well, isn't it?
Well, yes. So the Alconbury site we moved into originally when the Let was part of the Combined Authority. Then we restructured the authority and we saved £1.4 million a year on staff alone, but that created a sort of a vacuum in the Alconbury site. So we've been looking for the last year and a half now at ways to move out of that and save money, and we're going to save under £750,000 by moving out. So we're looking at options of where we will go to. My office is in Ely, but it doesn't mean to say that the rest of the authority has to be in one place. And if lockdown has taught us anything, it's you can work for anywhere. So we're looking at options. All of our local authorities have offered us opportunities to certainly bed down in the short term, and in the longer term, we will look for an appropriate site.
Well, listen, James, here's to a much happier future, and here's to the economy recovering. Get them houses built, get the university built, get the A47 done, and then we'll find you some other jobs to do. How's that?
You're insatiable, but that's the way I like it, and we'll do everything we can to keep the hard work going.
Thank you. That's James Palmer, who's the Mayor of the Peterborough and Cambridgeshire Combined Authority, joining us on the lockdown interviews. We'll see you next time.